Hello, everyone, and welcome to gaming-related activities. I actually don't know what episode this is.
Six.
Six? Seven? Six?
Yeah, six.
Episode
We just
6.
just came
Oh,
off the fighting game one,
yes, sir.
which I've not clipped a single thing. So what have you been playing recently?
Oh, now, there's been this neat little game called V-Rising.
Mm.
I absolutely adore this game right now. It's been in early access for I don't know, 4 years.
Okay.
But man, 1.0 has brought in so much stuff, including a combo with Dracula, the Castlevania Dracula,
Oh,
with the
cool.
Belmonts and all that. It is so neat.
So
I'm
what's it
just going
like?
through
What's
that.
the game about?
It is a crafting survival.
Okay.
It's a survival open world base builder. Which it's also from the top down view, kind of like Diablo. And it's like a hack and slash.
Sounds cool.
So the whole premise is like you build your base, you get higher and higher in the levels of your base, then you track these bosses that are around the world, and then you kill these bosses. They give you something like now you can craft a better crafting table, or now you can craft something else, and so you get more powerful gear so that you can kill more of the bosses in the world, and it's like you just get higher and higher, and it's really cool. It's quite unique. I think it's a quite unique type of game.
Um. So how did you find that, or have you been following that for ages?
We've kind of been following it, but we've played it twice before, but we never got very far. We only got up to I want to say like the 15th boss, 10 or 15th boss, which I think there's like maybe 80 to 100 bosses in the game. So we've played it before, but never really got that as far as we wanted anyway. But now this is the one. Like within these 2 days that it's been out, we have basically got to the same point as we did back then. And oh, I forgot to mention, it's from the same people. Have you ever heard of Battle Right?
Yes, we played it
We did.
way back when.
Way back when. I loved that goddamn game. It's from the same people as that.
Okay.
It has that same feel. And if you remember, Battle Right was really smooth. Like, its
Yes.
gameplay was smooth as fuck. Exact same as V-Rising. V-Rising's gameplay is so goddamn smooth.
Right.
I absolutely love it. But what have you been playing?
You know what? I've got a handful of stuff to speak about actually.
Oh, all
I'll
right.
start off with the one we've been playing. Rainbow Siege,
Rainbow Six Siege.
which has been really fun, shockingly recently.
It has.
Um, so this is your first season playing ranked,
It is.
and the game's decided to go. Here's platinum. Pretty well, you've earned it. You did clutch up your match to get into platinum.
A couple, but I don't think I'm up there with the plats.
But you're still playing well. You haven't dropped a goose egg.
Aye, it's aye.
So we've been playing that a lot, just grinding that away. I wasted my 3-day booster, like I said I would. I knew I would. I always do it every time I put a booster in.
Hey,
On
I've
is
got
when
some. Don't you worry, I've got some.
That's good. It's alright, I've almost got enough for demos anyway. So we've been playing that, enjoying Sledge, enjoying just the game in general. Another one, me and you've been playing, a small bit, a lot less, but still a bit. Helldivers 2.
Yes, sir.
Very fun game. It's my first real time playing through it. The community died for a little bit and then it came back. Well, it didn't die, but they were rebelling from
The whole Sony fiasco.
Did we speak about that on the podcast last week?
I don't think it happened last time.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to do a quick little rundown?
Definitely. So, yeah, Sony made a announcement that they were going to require PSN logins, right, to play the game on Steam. And wow, people didn't like it, to say the least. So the entire community, huge backlash, absolutely ginormous backlash. The internet really got set on fire, so to speak. But then they retracted it. The day it was supposed to go live for new players, they retracted it. So, I mean, big W to not needing to do that. But as you've been saying, the community is somewhat fractured now. But in my personal opinion, I still think it's going pretty strong.
Oh yeah, it's still going strong, but yeah, it doesn't change the fact that the game's really fun and great to play.
Mm-hmm. What was your feelings when we first played it, when you recorded that video?
It's a messy game, but that's the good part of it as well.
That's the fun of it.
The game's so messy. Like, it's presented well. Everything's quite smooth and enjoyable to do. The gunplay is good. The swarms of enemies, the different types of enemies is cool. The different planets is cool. Objectives, all this. I actually enjoy going in first person, which might be a hot take, but yeah, first person was quite fun. But yeah, game's really fun. Progression's actually good, which is weird for a live service game, for progression to be fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And the community, like, I played it a bit, like, not a lot on my own. I played like 3 missions on my own, just to see what like the randos were like. They're really into it, and that was fun to just listen to them just all like screaming for democracy down the mic and stuff. And I'm like, that's funny. So yeah, Helldivers. What's the next few? They Are Billions. Been playing that. Real tough game. Real fucking solid game.
That's one of those games that I've always heard about, but I actually don't know what it is or how
it's a base management game. It's an RTS.
Oh, okay.
But fucking, so there's like, can be like hundreds and hundreds of zombies on screen at once. And the game's trying to fuck you over as hard as it can do it. So I was just going through the campaign. I was on like mission 3 or 4, and it doesn't really punish you for losing. You just restart. But the missions take a little while to do. And one zombie got round my wall. It hit the tent once. Now one zombie's 3 zombies. Now I've got to deal with 3 zombies. They hit the tent next to them. 5, 7, 10, 20. And then the base just fell because I let one zombie slip through the crack. But
that's crazy.
Very fun. Very, very fun game. I'd highly suggest it if you're into RTSs. And a hard challenge. That being said, you still got Frostpunk's scenarios to do, don't you?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I'm playing that. I'm playing Total Warhammer 3. Started a run with you. That's ended again. No? Are we in the middle? No, that one's ended, isn't it?
No, yeah, we ended it, yeah.
And I've started my own one as the unclean one, the Great Unclean one.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. Absolutely love him.
And I took over my whole section. And that campaign's going really well. We've got a majority of the map. I'm at rank like 6 or 7. I'm at war with the Orcs right now on the west of me, and I'm at war with some of... I forgot the name of them, but I'm at war with people of the east of me. And then the Ogre Kingdom I'm at war with at the north of me. So I've got 3 wars going on. And it's just really fun to manage. Great experience at the moment on that, even though the developers, again, as usual, a bit scummy.
What have they done now?
Just the thing I told you about before, where there's like, just
Okay.
because you own the game doesn't
Yeah.
mean you have the privilege to speak about whatever. And then finally, I've been playing Mana Lords, a new city builder.
Yeah, that's brand new off the
It
press,
feels a
isn't
lot
it?
like Banished. I don't know did you ever play Banished?
I don't think so, no.
Um, well, yeah, it feels like what's another one? Just a normal city builder, but like it's got a lot going for it. Like there's a cool feature where you can click in the top right and you can walk around your city in third person, which is really neat. You've also got the battle system, rather than just being like go fight, like you guys just run at the enemy. You can set them up in formations and stuff, and choose your tactics of how you want you guys to fight. And the mode I'm on at the moment is I've got to try to take over the entire map, and it's not a small map. Like I can imagine having a great amount of people because the map's quite big. So yeah, I've been playing that a bit today. I've got some of it recorded, got that edited and rendered. Just got to do a thumbnail and then I'll upload it. I'll probably turn it into a series because I'm really enjoying it. And what else did we? Marvel Rivals leak. I think it was a leak where you can see all of the abilities for every character, and it's made me more optimistic for it.
Made you more optimistic. That's good.
Yeah,
What's in that league that makes you more optimistic?
so a character that I have no interest in made me go, okay. It was Punisher. His gun, like when he was shooting at the enemies, he was just using his AR. It's quite cool. So he's got an AR as his first weapon, and then at any moment you can press 2 and just pull out a pump shotgun.
That's cool.
And then one of his abilities is he stands still and gets like remember Tachanka's old like mounted turret.
Yeah.
He just pulls one of them out of his arse, and you just stay mounted and just start shooting everyone. Anyway, just watching him shoot the enemies, I was like, oh, okay, this feels a lot more like meaty than Loki's stuff that we saw.
Yeah.
Watching Hulk, like when they were showing the Hulk's moves, watching him jump around and like have an ability where he can grab you and do what he did to Loki at the end of the first Avengers film. I was like, okay, this is looking a lot heavier than what we were shown before.
That's good.
Rocket being not a damage character and being a support was a bit weird to me. And yeah, that looks good. And one more thing I want to speak about before we get to the main thing is the Joker coming to multiverses at the end of the month.
That's huge. Absolutely huge.
I love that they got Mark Hamill, and I love that he said he's not going to play the Joker anymore because of Kevin Conroy passing away.
Yeah.
And every time they've been one or the other, I'm pretty sure, say Mark Hamill's playing the Joker, Kevin Conroy's Batman. And Kevin Conroy is still Batman in multiverses because he passed away after he's done all his voice lines for it, I think. So Mark Hamill's still being the Joker with Kevin Conroy being Batman, which I find quite nice.
That is poetic.
Yeah, and then we can start what we actually was gonna jump on, which is which one we're doing first, Death Stranding or Baldur's Gate 3?
Baldur's Gate 3 is probably going to turn into some sort of fucking argument, so they can go on to Death Stranding first.
Okay.
So, Death Stranding, I want to preface by saying it's probably one of my favorite story games ever. I absolutely fucking love the game. But I want to start from the beginning. So, Silent Hills PT Are you aware of that demo that was on
Yeah,
PS4?
yeah.
So that was Kojima's thing, right? And then the playable teaser came out. Everyone absolutely loved it, right? But then Kojima got sacked or got taken off the project or something. I can't quite remember. And so he made his own company, and then made Death Stranding with kind of the same premise, because Silent Hill PT had what's his name? Main guy?
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. And it had the Funky Fetus, right? And coming to Death Stranding, you've got kind of the same thing. You've got Norman Reedus, and you've got his Funky Fetus. So, from Silent Hills onto the reveal of Death Stranding, first off, what was your opinion on the Silent Hill PT? Did you play it back then? Have you seen it?
I don't think no, I've seen it. I watched someone play for it. It weren't a long thing, it was about 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was just a
yeah,
demo,
you walk through the corridors and then things start changing. Yeah. So I've seen it all, and it looked neat. It did look good. I can't really say much on it because you never know how the full game's going to turn out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it would have been good. It was a Silent Hill game, did you say? Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hills it was called.
Yeah. Yeah, so would it have been a good Silent Hill game? Maybe. I don't... We didn't see anything linking it to the Silent Hill thing, did we? Like I said, I haven't played the Silent Hill games, but I don't know if it was linked to anything you can see in the trailer where you're like, oh, that's from Frick or Reunion or whatever. So, yeah, I'm not too sure on the actual... It being a Silent Hill game. Probably would have been a really good horror game. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the P2?
I absolutely adored it. I didn't play it myself either. Unfortunately, I missed out while it was going on. But looking back at it, and obviously the community agreement of it just being like some of the best horror in just one singular small demo, like, it is criminal how we didn't get a full game of that. But yeah, then the whole thing happened. He made his own studio, and then he revealed Death Stranding. And were you around for the reveal of Death Stranding?
Yes, I weren't really much into the game, but I definitely remember seeing the trailer when it was first released. Something like, hey, it's Norman Reedus.
It's Norman Reedus and his Funky Fetus.
But I remember as it was building up to it, everyone was getting quite frustrated because they wouldn't say much on it, would they?
No, it was extremely confusing in kind of typical Kojima fashion, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember everyone was like, okay, it's cool and all, but come on. Let's just say what kind of game it is or what's happening in it or the idea, the premise, something. I remember the Rick and Morty crossover where it seemed the creators of the Rick and Morty sponsor or crossover didn't have a fucking clue what the game's about because they were like, yeah, if we eat the baby, can we double jump or let's just eat the baby.
Yeah, it was extremely confusing. Like, especially how Kojima did his trailers. Like, one of the first trailers, I think, was Norman Reedus just naked on a beach. And then he would, wake up, walk a few feet on the beach, and then there'd be, floating dudes just in the air with, a bunch of dead whales. And then, yep, there's a title screen, Death Stranding. The fuck is that ever supposed to mean? What? And then they brought out more trailers. It was even more confusing because some of them were like going down Norman Reedus's throat, and then there's
Yeah,
just a
and
baby in there.
I remember
And
that one as
then
well.
it was so confusing. And then they started to actually do some gameplay, didn't they? They started to actually reveal some gameplay. And then people got worried. People got concerned because it was just a walking simulator. And it was like, all of that build up just for a walking simulator, you know? Well, did you feel that way, or were you there when that was going on?
I remember seeing the gameplay and being like, "Oh wow, this is not for me." When he was just having a little wander,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "It looked relaxing, but it doesn't look like it's for me." And then it started having like the footsteps. And they were shown in the first one, weren't it? Where you could see like the shadows, footsteps slowly coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, mate, it's a horror, it's a walking horror. I don't know." And then I just stopped paying attention to it. And then I did buy it in like I bought both actually. I bought the original and the director's cut. I bought the original in 2020, and I bought the director's cut in like when I was in uni in like 2022. And I'll talk about my experiences once we get to the actual game. But yeah, I wasn't really following it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Monster was everywhere in the original.
The what was everywhere?
Monster, like energy drink.
Yeah.
That shit was littered everywhere.
They changed it in director's cut, didn't they? So it's just some
Mhm.
generic energy drink now.
Yes, they did.
The monster was funny though. That was some funny product placement.
It weren't hidden, was it?
It was not hidden in the slightest. It was at every single chance you got. Right at the start of the game, it's like, hey, you have a canteen full of monster. But yeah, the reveal, and then people started to get concerned with all of the walking simulators and all that stuff. But the question that I've thought of myself after Death Stranding is, would I have rather had Silent Hill PT, like an actual full game of PT in like an alternate universe where that game was finished, or stick to this universe where PT never came out, but Death Stranding came from PT in a way,
Yeah.
First of all, did you enjoy Death Stranding? Did you beat the game?
I did I beat the director's cut, not the original.
Ah, okay.
The original, no. I remember I got to. It went late to the game. I was about 2.5 hours in, and I made like a trek to the new town or something, like a new drop location.
Mm-hmm.
And I realised I didn't pick up my fucking supplies I was meant to pick up. So I had to walk all the way back to walk all the way back. And I was like, absolutely fucking not, and just turned it off. And I never loaded it up again. 2 years down the line, I get the director's cut for like 10 quid off. Yeah, got it for 10 quid. And I sat down for like, I don't know, like 5 days straight, a week straight, and just played only that and beat it. And no, I didn't really like it.
Really?
Yeah. For a few reasons. But you said it was your favourite story game, didn't you?
It is probably one of my favourite story games, yeah.
Is it the story you enjoyed, or did you enjoy the gameplay as well?
The gameplay was fine. I can fully understand when people are like, it's just a walking simulator. It's Postman.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And yeah, it's just a simulator of FedEx. I get it. But I feel like the dreariness of the gameplay helps the story in a way. And I will like fully go down this rabbit hole of Kojima was telling us big story with that game, right? And feel like the gameplay was just a more extension of the story, like how like monotonous it is, how I don't want to say boring, but like how brain dead in a way it
Might
is.
be worse.
I don't know how to describe it, but it goes into the story of you're a dude tracking across the entirety of America, trying to get these people back together when some of them don't even want to. Some of them are like, I do not care. Please piss off. Like, get off my goddamn doorstep. And it's like, well, what am I gonna do now? You know, and I like some of the game I can agree is just monotonous for the monotonous sake. Like some of it does not need to be that bad, but especially the menus. But I absolutely love the actual story that it told, and just the way of connecting. And obviously the entire game is based around connecting, is based around like loneliness. It's that type of theme. And I think Kojima did so well in the way of you're alone, you feel lonely, but there are other people, you know? There are other porters, there are other players. The way that you put down a structure that goes into other people's games and then they can like it, or other people put down structures that come into your game and then you can use that structure and you can like it. It's like you feel lonely. There's no one else helping you make those deliveries. There's no one else there with you. But you come across like a hill that you're like, oh shit, how do I get across this? And then there's like a ladder that someone else placed that you know they had the exact same problem, but they brought a ladder. You didn't, but they did. And that ladder saved you. Their idea to just bring a ladder saved you as well. And it could be the exact same thing around. When you get a like for a ladder or a rope that you place down, and you know that helped someone else, that the struggle that you did helped someone else. Like, man, that's a feeling. That it was such a good way to portray loneliness while not being lonely. I think it was fantastic.
I for gameplay wise, it just felt it. The controls were one issue that just weren't fun. Like, and the physics as well. Sometimes will just tell you to go fuck yourself. Sometimes,
yeah, they would.
I'd climb a rock that's so easy, like I could fucking climb it, and then out of nowhere, oh, that top bit's fallen off. So I go down to get it, and I fall off the small. I have to jump off this rock, the smallest little rock. 10 things fall off my back or arms or something, or Sam's fallen over, and now I'm being sent down a fucking river. And I'm just staring as I'm getting swept away. About 10 minutes of progress. All my items are getting like washed up on different parts of the shore, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. Oh well, you finally got this motorbike now that gets put on every single little rock in your way. That's fine. Oh, you're on a boat. You've now lost access to this bike. Walk again, dipshit. There's a third-person shooting section that's not that great. Okay. Soothe the baby. You've fallen. Soothe it. Soothe the baby. It's noisy.
Okay. I'm gonna have a huge hot take with the baby. You keep going on with yours, and I'll explain later.
Okay. Every part that game just felt annoying to play. And I remember I spent ages building a road, like getting like the materials to build a road. And I thought it'd go ages, and I saw this little part of a road be built, and I just stared at it. I'm like, I wasted like 2 hours. My bike to be able to move 10 centimeters. So I thought I just said, fuck this. I just walked through the water holding LTR to fucking nightmare. Yeah, the gameplay itself was a fucking ass, to be honest, the longer I'm thinking about it. Fucking donkey shit. Just walking in an area and you're like, okay, here we go, I'm almost at the location. Your fucking radar starts beeping, you're like, oh, fuck's sake. I've got to be really slow and stealthy and all this shit. Otherwise I'm getting dragged back halfway across the map and got to walk again. Every kind of situation it throws you in is just a hindrance for you walking.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not the funnest experience to play. Though there's one part of the game I really, really enjoyed, and that's the Titan boss battle with Troy Baker's character, Higgs. Is it Higgs?
Yeah, Higgs, yeah.
Yeah, I fucking really like that. And then like the Mortal Kombat style fighting thing on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
That was they were both really cool. And that's all I can think of that was really cool. Maybe the war section, the third person shooting war section. That was alright until I realised it was going on for a little bit too long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what was you going to say about big fetus?
The baby. I don't know if this contributes to me having a better experience. But if you go into the audio settings of Death Stranding, you can change BB's audio specifically to go to a different device. So I put BB's audio to a device that was just null and void. I couldn't hear it. And I never heard that kid scream. Not once. Well, I didn't get the achievement to soothe the kid until after I completed the game.
I wish. Little prick was crying in my ears for half my game.
That's the thing. I'm not a big fan of kids, I'll be honest. And I'm not going to endure a baby crying in my ear when I'm trekking across hills and mountains and Narnia to get a package over to someone that doesn't give a shit about me. I'm not having a baby cry in my ear at the same time as that. I'm just not. So yeah, I changed his audio device, and man, was I happy. I didn't soothe him, and it wasn't really a problem for me. Like, he didn't ever run out, apart from obviously in the part of the game where he's meant to, and you don't have him for like a little bit. But yeah, I never had any trouble with it. I never had any trouble. I mean, I did. Does the game have difficulty levels? Because if it does, so. I played on standard. Well, whatever the middle one was, I played on standard. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, I didn't hear the fucker cry at all, and man, it was bliss.
I also think the writing was absolute arse in some areas.
In some, yeah, definitely. I think that happens a lot at the start of the game, ironically. A lot of the starting point writing is pretty goddamn bad.
Do you remember the Mario and Princess Peach line when they're on the beach? That shit, I rolled my eyes at that.
Mario and Princess Peach.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I also beat the game at I did the final section of the game at 1 in the morning. So to my surprise, when I finally did the last bit of gameplay, to be awakened to a 2-hour cutscene, I was not happy when I was still up at 3. I clocked out. I'm just staring at my screen and it's still going. I was like, oh, okay. And now we're done. After this, and now we're done. But first, just end. Just please end. Please. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the actual story then?
The actual story I thought was really, really good. I mean, all of the actors themselves were fantastic. Especially, the main man, the myth, the legend, Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Man, he was so good.
He was great.
Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, all the acting was, I think, pretty good. Yeah, as you said, the writing is quite iffy, but it was really good. And the story itself of, a man going across America, connecting all the people, and while you're also connecting a bunch of people, you're also connecting with the kid, right?
Yeah.
Again, I didn't really connect with him.
You was playing a different game to the rest of us.
I was kind of playing a different game, yeah.
That's why you enjoyed it so much.
Maybe.
Imagine you cut out a part of the game and you're like, it's great.
But yeah, the whole thing about connection and loneliness, and you're not actually alone because there's all the other porters, all the other players, all that stuff. The ending with the kid, where you've connected with the kid throughout all of this journey, and now you're obviously big spoilers, but yeah, now you're sorry, let me restart. Right from the start of the game, you're burn the kid. He's equipment, he's defective, burn the kid. And then Norman Reedus, the man, was like, no, I'm not burning the kid. I'm gonna use it. So, you start using him for the whole game, and then you get more attached to him as the character as well. What's his name in the game? Sam. Sam gets really attached to this kid as well, as you need to fix him when he goes wrong in the winter area of the game, and not only are you kind of expected that as a player you get attached to the kid, but also the character Sam is getting attached. And then right at the end of the game, you assume he's dead, and then you gotta burn him. This is the time where you burn him. And then you're taking the same trek that you did to burn your mother at the start of the game. You are now going to burn the kid. And the song, oh my god, I'll get to the music, but holy shit, the music's phenomenal. But yeah, it plays BB's theme. Then you get to it, you get to the incinerator. 2 hours of cutscenes later, you open up the pod. It is revealed that the kid is also a repatriate, exactly the same as Sam. And then, everything's handy dandy. They go out into the rain. It doesn't kill them. It's not Timefall anymore. La-di-da, game ends. And then end credit scene. Oh, the kid was actually a chick the whole time, I think. And then the game's over. It's great. I thought it was a great goddamn premise. It's Kojima, so obviously there's some really, really weird stuff. I don't know how the guy thinks up of him. Who sits by themselves in a big comfy leather chair and is like, you know what? I'm gonna make a game about a beach, but that beach is gonna be in the afterlife. But that beach is also gonna have dead things that come into the the real life, but also there's a kid, but there's a baby, and that baby is not actually born, but it's in an incubator. But that incubator can be hooked up to you to then see the things from the beach that was in the afterlife. How? How did he think of that?
A lot of drugs.
But Kojima, man, I'm telling you. Well, that man has a mind. It's phenomenal. But I went off topic. But yeah, the story. I think it's a great premise. It executes it really well in how it portrays its loneliness. It's executed well in how you're connecting with others. You're connecting with all of the characters in the game. You go to what's her name? The chick that has the dead baby.
Fucking, I can't tell you.
Mama. You go to Mama's lab. You learn about her story. Then she finally lets go, gets rid of the baby, sees her sister for the first time, dies. They become one. Then you go to Hartman. You learn of Hartman's stuff. And, you're just going from like character to character, learning their story, connecting with them. And then by the end of the game, you've got all of this big like cast of characters. And especially like the one character throughout the whole game, Mads character, Mads Mikkelsen. What's his name?
Can't
remember his name.
Yeah, no, I'm blanking off.
But his father, Sam's father, basically. And then like he's a like pretty big thing throughout the whole game. He's almost like an antagonist in a way. He is kind of a villain in the story. That's apart from Higgs. And then you learn of the real truth, all that, and the whole wholesome hugging at the end and all that stuff, and it was, I think, really, really well done. And a lot of the cutscenes, there's a lot of cutscenes, but a lot of them are really well done. The actors were phenomenal. The story itself was great. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great game. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
I had mostly negative experiences with it. I didn't really get into the story. I thought I would. It didn't hook me. Like I said, the writing weren't great. The gameplay weren't great. In fact, the gameplay was bad. I'll go as far as to say that. But you did say one thing I 100% agree with you. The game did great, making you feel lonely.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing the game did fantastically. Other than this stupid little fetus attached to you, crying in your ears.
Can't relate.
Yeah, you cut out a big section of that game. But yeah, loneliness felt cool, kinda. Other than when you're seeing like people's man-made stuff, and it was weird. Okay, Windows, fucking hell. I'm trying to think of anything positive I could say, and I'm really struggling.
You really like just didn't
Soundtrack.
enjoy...
The soundtrack was amazing.
Okay. I'll get to the music in a second.
I also hated the fucking, when they call you to speak to you.
Yeah.
That the little tune it did before it.
Yeah.
That was going through me at some point. Like, you'd go into the little safe house thing to like restock and all that, and they'd call you over and over. 5 different people are calling you, so you're like, yeah, I've listened. Okay, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, okay, I get it. New shoes, very cool. Oh, ladders. Yeah, I know what ladders fucking do. Thank you. Yeah, baby's important. Okay, let me fucking go back outside and play the game, and then you go to leave, and it's like, here's a cutscene of Sam leaving, but then he gets interrupted by this phone call. Watch it. It's 10 minutes long. And I didn't want to skip it, because God knows if it has story relevance. Sometimes it'd be like, the fucking, what's his name, starts speaking to Sam. I'm like, I can't skip it then, can I? Yeah, fucking most of that game just blew.
I can 100% agree that that chime when people are about to call you, it was grating.
Yeah.
Absolutely grating to the mind.
Yeah, it was mind rotting.
I hated it. I honestly, when I finished the game a while ago, I played it when it first came to PC. I didn't actually play it on PlayStation. I played it when it first came to PC.
Okay.
And then I really enjoyed it. I got a display of it, a poster of it. I bought the art book for it because I really liked it, and then kind of just went on with my life. And then recently, literally within the last couple weeks, one of my friends has started to replay it, and I did not realize how bad it was that they kept calling you.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
Right at the start of the game. 4 calls exactly, at the same time, one after another, back to back. Oh my god! Especially in the mission where you're burning your mother, when you're taking the president to the incinerator. There's 6 calls back to back, and 3 of them are Die Hardman. Holy shit! Shut up,
please. An absolute fucking banger of a song as well.
Yeah. But yeah, the music, the soundtrack, some of the best moments, or probably the best moments in the entire game, is when you have stepped out onto the field, you stepped out onto the grass, Low Roar starts playing, and it starts to pan out. The camera pans out, the music starts, and it's just you in nature. Oh my god. I can't think of a better, relaxing experience in any game that I've played.
Relaxing game. I mostly play relaxing games, actually. That's a lie. I just lied, sorry.
you like your city builders when they torture you. So
yeah, most of the city builders I play aren't relaxing. They're just face fucking me, and I say thank you at the end of it.
Literally what you said about We Are Billions.
Yeah. But yeah, Sea of Thieves, I find that quite relaxing, actually.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves is alright until you get slammed by an Athena player.
Yeah, that's I've not really much. Oh, Death Stranding 2. Looking forward to that.
Oh, I'm extremely looking forward to that.
And do you reckon they're going to change how the game completely works, or do you reckon it'll be walking sim again?
I think it'll be a walking sim again. Okay. I don't see Kojima changing. I feel like Kojima is the kind of person that's he does not care what other people think. He wants to tell his story. He wants to make his game what he wants, right? And I respect that so much about that man.
Yeah, the trailer confused me when I first saw it. I'm like, wait, Troy Baker's back, and everything was just reset really well in it. The trailer, even though I was weirded out by it, but that's what they do. And another game I'm looking forward to that's from Kojima, I think, is Oh Dear.
Oh dear, yeah. He's doing it again. The trailer was just people talking into a camera.
And then it becomes more and more chaotic.
Yeah.
But He's doing it with Jordan Peele, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, story's probably going to be fucking batshit crazy. But other than that, yeah, I've not really got much to say on more than Death Stranding. What's your hopes for 2, actually?
I hope that they continue down the same path. I don't. Obviously, I want things to change. I want things to be different. It can't just be Death Stranding 1.5. You know, like do a few things different. But I don't want that feeling to be lost. Those moments where low raw plays and you're in just mountainous areas that look absolutely gorgeous, or those moments of when you're watching the cutscene and you know you're feeling like you're watching a movie. I don't want that feeling to be lost, which I don't think it will. I'm pretty confident that Kojima knows what he's doing.
That's fair. So you ready to jump on to the next one?
I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
What did you think of how long the game was? Like how many cutscenes there actually were in the game? And like, not including the ending cutscene, which is like, what, 50 minutes or something? Ridiculous.
50 minutes? 50? I'm pretty sure it's like 2 hours.
I can't remember. But apart from the ending cutscene, that one singular, really long one, but like the small but big ones in the middle, like the 20 to 30-minute cutscenes, but they had a lot of stuff in them. Well, what do you think of those?
So, like I said, I didn't really get into the story.
Did it feel tedious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone who weren't into the story 100%, it felt... Well, I'm just like... Well, I thought I was just stopping in to do a quick fucking restock. And now I'm in a 30-minute cutscene. I'm like, fuck me. I don't want to skip it. Because who knows, this might be the cutscene that like, I'm like, okay. Or where it's just building up to something and keeps building and building and building. I'm like, okay. And then the payoff's like a fucking whimpering fart because it's been building up for so long for like nothing. There's just so many cutscenes. A lot of them felt pointless. They probably weren't, but a lot of them felt absolutely fucking like nothing to me. I'd walk in, it's like, hey, that baby's the baby. Sam responds with very few words. Yeah,
Ooh.
so that baby's doing its thing. In fact, no, Sam spoke. No, he had the least lines, I think.
That was one of my biggest complaints. I mean, even as someone who really enjoyed the game, there was some cutscenes where Sam was like prompted to speak, or Sam was like expected to talk, and he just didn't.
It's the same thing happens in Walking Dead with Norman Reedus. Someone will speak into him and he'll go, okay, what? Then in season... In fact, no, I'm not going to carry on, but she was still watching it. So, but there's a lot of times where someone speaks to him that you've seen yourself, and he responds with a grunt, even though the game had fucking a whole speech. What's your thoughts, Daryl? Oh. Okay. Really thought we was going to start getting somewhere there. Yeah, I don't know. Sam, Death Stranding. If I was to rate it, I feel like a 5 out of 10.
So average, middle of the ground.
Yeah, I can't think of like the scenery was cool. The little technology they had, like the little fucking trying to think of how to describe it. The technology they had was cool. The scenery was cool. The music was good. Gameplay was bad. Story was not good for me. Writing was actually fucking dog shit in some areas. Acting was good. Characters were boring though for me. Yeah, so it was very middle ground for me. How excited am I for 2? I'll look it. I'll see it. I'll probably get it. Play it. Let you know then when it comes out in 2027. What about you? What's your rating of it?
I would probably rate it. I'd probably like an 8 out of 10.
8? That's good.
I'd do like an 8 out of 10. As I said, I really enjoyed it. Some of the cutscenes, even a person that liked most of the cutscenes, there was some that were just absolutely ridiculous. There was just no reason for them. It was tedious for tedious sake. A lot of the cutscenes of him just like putting on the gear or going in just to make a pit stop or things like that. Like it, yeah. But a lot of the cutscenes, it really did feel like, oh, there's a cutscene starting. I can sit back in my chair and I can watch it like a movie. Even though the cutscene was maybe only like 10 minutes, like it felt, I don't know, it felt nice. It felt comfortable. It felt warming in a way. And yeah, it was really enjoyable. And then I would go back to the gameplay, and then I'd remember, oh yeah, this isn't a movie. I actually have to do things. But
You'd cut back to the gameplay. It's like hold LT-R2 or L2-R2 because you're in a bit of water. You're halfway across the map now because you fell over.
I think one of the funniest parts of that game for me was, do you remember the guy that like lost his girlfriend or wife or something, and she was in a bunker like just a tiny bit away?
In the first like open area, was it?
No, it's in the chapter 3 area, when the world like really opens up.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like the first big area.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Like that's the one with the mountains and stuff you can go up, isn't it? Or the big hills.
The entire game is big hills.
Okay. The green, is that the green area or the grey area?
Brother, you're saying words. But the one that I found really funny was you get his girlfriend back. You say like, oh look, your girlfriend's alive, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're mourning for nothing. She's alive. So then you get her, you bring her back to him, and then she proposes like immediately.
Holy shit! I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. She proposes immediately, and it's like, wow, this is great. What a reunion! And then like 10 or 20 minutes later, he sends you an email saying, "Yeah, marriage sucks."
Yeah. You just saying that reminded me of a whole ass area in that game. I must have blocked out my memory. Wasn't it? No. Am I thinking? I don't know what game I'm thinking of anymore. Is there like raiders in that? Not raiders, but yeah, people came and attacked you for no reason.
People tried to steal your cargo. They were like cargo freaks or something.
Yeah, I remember that shit. Oh my fucking god!
You had just found a core memory.
Yeah, that shit's ass.
Yeah, I obviously it wasn't the best, and I 100% understand that the game is not for everyone. Like, it is a very acquired taste, but that's also what I kind of appreciate about the game. Is that a lot of games nowadays, I feel, try and gravitate to so many different people, like a jack of all trades kind of thing. Whereas, like, Death Stranding, it's its one thing. If you don't like it, then that's unfortunate that you can't enjoy the game. But it's not going to change. You either enjoy it or you don't. And luckily, I was one of those people that enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of one of those people that enjoyed it, Baldur's Gate 3. I will preface this one by saying, yes, I thoroughly enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3. Still haven't beaten it, by the way.
I'm convinced no one's ever beat that game. Anyone I've ever spoke to, they go, I love that game. What act you on? One? Yeah. Nice. Brilliant. I'm glad I got further, and I hate... Okay, hold on, let me preference this.
Go ahead.
If anyone watches this, ever, don't send me death threats for this. I know this game's the holy grail of video games, apparently. I don't like it, but I understand why it's so big. Anyway, back to the point, no one's ever beat the game, and don't try to argue with me that someone has. Go on now, I'll let you run with it first. What did you like about the game?
Okay, so I am a D&D player. I play D&D as the tabletop. Not very long, for probably about 3-4 years. I've been playing it
since the Discord. So
yeah, since I got the Discord. So about 4 years. I think that Discord's been around 5 years. So probably about 4.5 years.
Yeah,
that I've been playing it. And I really enjoy it. I love D&D, and I've played as a player, I've played as a DM, and I thoroughly enjoy doing both. And Baldur's Gate 3, it has that same feeling. Obviously, you're a player in a DM's story, and it's got all of the people you love, like the fucking are they called Mind Flayers?
Yeah,
Mind Flayers. Yeah, they've got the Mind Flayers. You've got obviously your cast of characters, Astarion, the chick with the artifact. What's her name?
Shadowheart.
Shadowheart. Everyone loves Shadowheart. I can't relate. You've got the what's her name? Dothraki is her race. Well, I can't remember what her name is, but her race is like Dothraki.
From Game of Thrones.
Is it? I don't know.
Dothraki's from Game of Thrones.
I might be thoroughly mixing my shit up.
The green woman, the orc woman.
Yeah, green woman.
Yeah, I know what you're about.
Yeah. But I'm on Act 2, I want to say. I was like halfway through Act 2. But we stopped playing it because, ironically, scheduling issues, exactly like the normal D&D game, where trying to get all 4 of us to get on the game to play it again is hard. But I also don't want to play it by myself because it's so... I feel like it's a D&D game, and you should have other, people with you. There's like other players with you, but that's just me. But I thoroughly enjoy the game for its D&D aspect, and I just thoroughly enjoy the game because of how big it is, because of how wide it is, because a choice you do can seriously affect things. I think this is more an Act 1 thing. I think it gets a little bit worse when you get to Act 2. And I've heard it gets really bad in Act 3. But Act 1 is the holy grail. Act 1 is 100% the holy grail. And you can do so many things, make so many choices, go so many different places, change so many people's stories. The dude that consumes magic to stay alive, I think you can just like straight up kill him if you give him too much or something.
Yeah, Gale's
Or
a
you,
bitch.
Gale, yeah, yeah. Or if you give him too little, or you just don't give him anything at all, he'll also just like explode or something. Astarion, vampire, suck your blood in the middle of the night. Is like you can let him, you can not let him, you can exile him from the camp, or that the druids that you save, and things like that. It is a big, wide open game, and it really is like the pinnacle D&D game in a way. It really is like one of the best, if not the best, D&D game ever made, and I don't think you could get better. It, but you're not a D&D player, are you?
I've never
So,
played D&D.
as a non-D&D player, what do you
Okay.
think of the game?
I'll give you the rundown. It is what every game should try to be. It's a whole package in one. They're not forcing DLC. You don't load up the game and be like, hey, you can get this other character or this race for £5. I love that. I love that you load it up and you've got everything at your fingertips. The developers clearly have put so much effort into it, so much time and passion into it. I hate. This is one thing I really dislike. Actually, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's original. It's the first of its thing. Nothing at all is like it." Divinity Original 2 Sin is damn near exactly like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take that point away from them. But it still does what it does fantastically. Sure. Now, what you said about like, everything has an effect. That's probably for D&D players because that shit was pissing me off hugely. I love having like consequences in games if it makes sense. If I'm like just walking around, just exploring a bit, and it's like Gale, just because I had one guy, I had Shadowheart, and my friend had Gale, and it was just us two playing. He also did not like the game. So Gale was saying like, I need an artifact. We kept giving him artifacts. Like, yeah, sure, have, take. And then there's one bit which like, I need an artifact, and we was in the middle of doing something, so he clicked like, not right now, or whatever. And Gale's like, well, fine then, see ya, and just left forever. And we're like, well, that's fucking the dumbest shit I've seen in my life. He just ran away because we said 1 second. He threw a hissy fit and fucked off. And was like, that's so dumb. We're not going to reload, we're going to stick with what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
So we carry on playing. And I went to this, the Goblin Camp.
Yeah.
Where you're looking for a way to get the parasite out. Speaking to this woman, she's like, hey, come with me, I know how to get it out. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. Went with her. Hey, everyone, attack him. But the entire fucking camp collapsed and then on me. No way to kill him, because I'm like level 6. I'm like, so I literally have to reload. You literally now have to reload now. So, reloaded. That's annoying. Pretty much got soft locked and we just had little inconveniences. Also, when you're playing with someone, and they speak to someone, they're getting like part of a story that you're missing, and then you only get in on it halfway, and you're like, what the fuck's happening? Because you didn't. I didn't like that. But it makes sense. We should have. That's just that's a multiplayer thing. The map itself was so boring. I thought like Dungeons and Dragons could have like, you can have like a bunch of different weird, like at the beginning of the game when you're on the alien spaceship. It's like, oh, this is cool. Here's a forest. I was like, I swear every game I've ever played starts in a forest. Now, here's one. Go to this goblin camp. Oh my fucking god. I did this in Harry Potter Legacy, or whatever it is, Hogwarts Legacy. Now go to the druid camp. It weren't hitting it for me. And when they did mix it up, it was really cool. The mushroom forest. That shit was cool. Really like that part of the game. Big fan of that. And now you're in the Goblin Cave or whatever it was. I'm like, fuck's sake. Have we just done a big step back like this? But yeah, the combat, I'll say it, I thought Divinity's combat was better. I was playing an assassin, and tell me why I felt like I was playing an archer. Felt like I was forced to be an archer as an assassin. I thought I was going to be using like dual daggers or something. Nope. Better to use a crossbow. That was cool. What the fuck's the point of the archer then? Shadow. There was a point in the game where I had to do like I've been speccing into Shadowheart the entire time, and this choice came where I was like, you have to do a certain thing to stop her from doing a certain thing without spoiling it. And it's like, roll a 30 with 2 dice. And I'm like, no, we're going to 30. It was fucking roll something that was impossible. And I looked at it, I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've seen in my entire life. I can't physically roll this. And then I looked it up and everyone's like, yeah, you need to have this buff and this buff with this buff and this buff and do this and this and this and this and this just to have a chance at rolling it. I'm like, that's dumb. That's fucking stupid. That I had to figure out I had to need 40 buffs and only then have a chance at rolling it. I get it. If you had to like roll a 10, roll a 15 and you didn't get it, unlucky, GG. But the fact it's like roll a 70 on two 20-sided dice. I'm looking at it, I'm like, what? The maths ain't mathing. The soundtrack was fine, I think. The voice acting was great, for the most part. It was really good. I'm glad Heisenberg won the voice actor award. I still think Yuri Lowenthal deserved it more, or the guy that played Clive in Final Fantasy 16. But that's fine. Yeah, it's probably just me not being a Dungeons and Dragons person, because the other group of people I've spoke to, they're really into. They play every Friday Dungeons and Dragons at their house. They have like their friends come over and all this. They love the game, and I was like, "Oh, they're speaking to them." They're like, "What part are you on?" I went, "Oh, I'm near the end of Act 2 and I can't play it anymore." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we love it. We're in the middle of Act 1." No, then I'm not accepting that. Middle of Act 1. There's a section in the second act that just blew chunk as well. Yeah, no, not for me. I do get why it's loved though.
I think it is definitely just the type of person, because me as a D&D player, a lot of the things that you're complaining about, I actually liked about the game. Like what you said about the skill check being impossible to get. There's that type of thing happens in a lot of D&D campaigns. It's like you have an idea that is so kind of outrageous or is so stupid in a way that like you still have a chance to do it. You can still do it if you want to, but you're gonna have to roll extremely goddamn high. And I think Baldur's Gate 3 has that rule where a nat 20 is always a success, right? And a nat 1 is always a failure.
Yeah.
So if you rolled a nat 20, it could still work.
But you needed 2 20s.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure which part you're talking about, but
you haven't got to that 100%.
Okay. Well,
it's near the end of Act 2.
Yeah, no. We're in like start to middle kind of area.
Let's be real. You ain't finishing that game.
I would love to, but scheduling issues, man.
Yeah.
Getting
especially
all
when you're
four
playing 3-4, yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to play it alone. I think I might just play it alone. But my problem with playing it alone... here's another thing. The game is huge, and that's a good point. You know, that's a good thing.
Mm.
But when I think about starting a second playthrough, or when I think about like I want to do it alone so that I don't have these scheduling issues, I don't have to wait for anyone, I can beat the game by myself. And then I have to think back to everything I've already done with other people, but then by myself. Plus maybe more. Plus things that maybe we've missed, right? And that I have to go through them alone to even more of the game. And for me, that's too daunting. For me, I don't want to go through all that again. It's a huge game. It's great that it's a huge game, but it's too big for me to want to do it again. I just don't want to.
That makes sense. Yeah, I understand that. You haven't played Divinity 2, have you?
No, I started it like really early on, but I only played for like 2 hours.
So something it did well compared to Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't beat that either, and actually I got even less far in Divinity 2. I got to the second island. I did half of that. Actually, I might have got to the exact same kind of point in both games. So in the first island in Divinity 2, just from the top of my head, I can think of 4 different ways to get off that island. In Baldur's Gate 3, I can't. There's only one way to move on to Act 2, isn't there? Which is going straight up that cliff.
I think there's 2 ways.
Oh, there's 2.
Yeah, I think you can either go around on top of the cliff, or you can go underneath and go through the cave. Yeah. That's what my group did. We went down through the cave, through the Underdark.
Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry, we also went through the Underdark into the gloomy woods kind of.
Yeah, area. And you like needed a lantern so you don't die or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess there is multiple, but like it was so much more prominent in Divinity from what I remember. You could go with the boy on the boat. You could open the sneak around, and do the lever. You can go through the fighting arena and stuff like that. And that's just, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like Divinity 2, really. But a lot more of it, obviously. A lot more into it. Everything's fully voice acted. Most things are fully voice acted. Yeah. I kicked a squirrel. He exploded.
the squirrel in the tree.
Yeah. Came down, bit my foot, and I punted him. I tried to load up a save myself, like you said you would.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no. Because I realised I've done most of the stuff anyway, and I don't want to redo everything again.
That's the thing. It's just too much. It's too big. But you just reminded me, that goblin camp that you talked about, where you went in and then you got soft locked because you kept you talking and then just saying get him.
Yeah.
What we actually did there was my group sneaked through the back of the goblin camp, and we didn't even mean to. We didn't even even realize we were going to the goblin camp. We were just kind of exploring around, and we snuck in the back of the goblin camp, and then we spoke to a completely different person than we were actually supposed to at the front gate. And so we had 3 of our people be behind on top of the scaffolding, like in stealth while we waited. And then one guy would go down and talk to the NPCs. And then when it went hairy, we would all jump down and we just killed one room at a time. We killed one room of goblins each time. And we absolutely wiped out that goblin camp. And I think that also shows a testament to how different you can play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you've seen this, but have you seen the clip of Matt Mercer, who just stacked barrels on top of each other?
Yeah.
And then jumped into a castle or something?
Yeah, so
I know that that's a bug. I know you're not really supposed to do that, but it kind of shows you can do that. And the game does have so much versatility.
don't get me wrong. I do. Yeah, how to play the game is there's a bunch of different ways to play it, but I think the way to go through the game is different to how you're playing it. Even though that sounds weird. Like I think the ways. So what you just described there of you going in and killing the camp, we ended up killing the camp, but it was like we just brute forced it, while she was taking a tactical approach. That's two different ways of playing the game, but our destination was the same of just going into that camp, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, did you? Oh, fuck it, another really bad bit. The old woman in the hut. Did you meet her? Act one.
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking awful area that was. How you had to put the mask on, and then the mask could take over, and you could just stand still, and then you had to have someone come over and knock you out, and then
Yeah.
that just wasn't fun.
I disagree. I think that was a good area.
I really dislike that. Just because the mask thing, because I would be walking, and out of nowhere it's like, hey, you can't move. I'm like, come back, knock me out, take the mask off, put it back on.
We didn't have much experience with the mask. But I remember finding the mask, and this is one of my favorite things about D&D, which I think Baldur's Gate did really well. That you find something and it's like, what the fuck does this do? Because it's a magical world, you know? Cursed items, cursed objects, you know, they're fucking everywhere. Especially in a fucking random ass hut of a witch, you know? So you go into this hut, you find a mask. It's like, well, this looks fucking suspicious. You put it on, like you be a real quirky guy, and you put it on, and it's like, oh, it didn't do anything. Okay, whatever. And then 5 minutes later, the mask starts to then like the entire game stops. It zooms into the cutscene, and it's like, yeah, this mask is like taking over you or some shit.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh shit, like the finding out what the items do and finding the cursed items and all that stuff, I think it's really cool. We didn't have what you were saying, where you have to keep knocking each other out to get the mask and stuff. I think we just left the mask, to be honest. I don't think we dealt with it.
okay.
But yeah, I remember specifically one of my friends putting on the mask just for giggles. And then it took him over, and then we did have to knock him out. And then I think we just left it. We just left it on the floor.
So the experience for it wasn't entirely bad. Although I was kind of snuffed out my own class of what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like Divinity's, where I'm into like backstabbing and stealthing around and not using a bow and arrow for almost all the game. Or a crossbow, sorry. The battles would sometimes you'd be thinking a lot in the battles, and I really enjoy that. It was just turn-based combat, but like with different ideas and stuff. Like, okay, we can use that oil there, that oil barrel, and then we can stack the oil barrels up for a big explosion, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was cool. I enjoyed that. I'm trying to think of some of the story was pretty good. So. Apparently, it really kicks off in Act 3, and I find that ridiculous that it kicks off in the final act.
Yeah.
You know, when I was speaking to my partner's sister about it, she was like, "Oh, yeah, the story's great, blah 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 blah." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not really into it." She goes, "Yeah, just wait till Act 3. That's where it really starts to like pick up and all this." And I'm like, "What? How are you picking up the story in the final part of the game? How does that work?" And then she told me the final act was like 40 hours long, and I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, what do you think? Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think the community loves it? But it's D&D.
Yeah.
And it's
D&D.
I think even me, as someone who didn't enjoy it, I can sit here and go, my god, is it perfect at what it does. For D&D fans, it smashes it out the park on every aspect. I don't think the map's great, but it smashes it out the park on every aspect. it's you go, yeah, like I said, you go in, you're not punched in the face with DLC or little cosmetics here and there. You put none of that. They clearly, truly, truly, truly cared about what they were putting out, and that's something that I can highly respect, even if I didn't enjoy the game. Now, did you think it deserved Game of the Year? Was it your Game of the Year?
I 100% think it deserved Game of the Year. Absolutely. The how long it was in development for, as you said, how much passion felt like went into that game. The fact that they just wanted to make a complete game. Like, I think there was a statement they said is like, there is going to be no DLC, there is going to be
Yeah, I
nothing.
saw that.
The Baldur's Gate is going to be a complete game. It's like, wow. And they did. They made a complete game. I've heard that like it's got some issues, like frame rate issues, especially in Act 3, and a lot of performance issues. Some issues with just it getting a bit more narrower. Like Act 1 is phenomenal. Then Act 2 it gets a little slower, and then by Act 3 you're kind of just doing the story. Like you're just doing a normal story game. Like it's not as open as Act 1 or 2, which I haven't experienced personally, but I can say Act 2 is slower than Act 1. Act 1, I felt like I could go anywhere, I could talk to anyone, I could explore anything, whereas Act 2 feels a lot more narrow. Compared anyway. Now, Act 2 is still good, but compared to Act 1, it feels more narrow. But all in all, for a D&D player, man, it is a fantastic game. Absolutely. And I definitely think it deserved Game of the Year. What other games came out that was nominated? Was Resident Evil 4 there?
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, it wasn't even close to being Game of the Year for me. And I understand why it won it, and I weren't like fucking oohing and ahhing when they won. For some of the awards I was, for some of them, like, that's absolute fucking nonsensical. Like the best voice actor, I was baffled by that one. Don't get me wrong, he was great. What's his name? Astarion. Vampire dude. Yeah, he was really good. Better than Yuri Lowenthal or the guy from Final Fantasy 16, Ben something. No shot.
I want to say a point there. Have you seen the clip of Astarion where I think like right at the start of the game you can like do an explosion that kills him?
Yeah,
but
like,
then you revive him, and it's like, you blew up the fucking sun on me, like that performance.
Yeah.
Man, he is phenomenal there, though.
I do think he's great, but that one Harry please line in Spider-Man 2, just, yeah, like, you can cherry pick scenes.
Yeah, true. Yuri, in my opinion, Yuri, I think, would have won it.
Yeah, did you see any of Final Fantasy 16?
No, I haven't.
Just the demo scene alone from 16, where it's in the demo, it doesn't matter if it's a spoiler. So the main character's little brother gets pretty much killed in front of him, and he's screaming, and the voice actor for that's putting everything into it. It gave me chills, even though it's like the start of the game. I was like, holy shit, here we go. And then the game slows the fuck down. Apparently the game has the highest highs, but some of the lowest lows, and I was stuck in some of the lowest lows. I'm like, ugh, nah, I'm good. But yeah, he was amazing. And Game of the Year wise, for me, I didn't play Alan Wake 2. Still need to get around to it. And they're not doing it. They've said they're not doing a physical copy, so I'm just going to have to fucking suck it up and get a non-physical.
I fully recommend it. Alan Wake 2 was great.
Tears of the Kingdom, for me, was 100% my Game of the Year. Pikmin 4 was, like, that was, for me, I love Pikmin, as you know. It's like, and I was waiting 11 years, whatever, for Pikmin 4. And I thought my expectations were way too high for it. Nah, they succeeded. They surpassed it. Tears of the Kingdom was phenomenal. It was perfect even. The only issue was frame rate dips, and that's just because of the Switch. There's no issue with the actual gameplay. It was Breath of the Wild on steroids. Resi 4, again, is really good. I do think Baldur's Gate 3, like I said, I weren't shocked it won. I weren't annoyed it won. But for me, Tears of the Kingdom and Resi 4 deserved it better. I do think Baldur's Gate 3, yeah, Spider-Man 2 didn't deserve it at all, in my opinion. Mario Wonder, I'm wondering why the fuck it was nominated.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2, haven't played yet. And that was it. I thought Final Fantasy 16 was also nominated. Guess not. But yeah, for those, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom just had to win it for me. But Baldur's Gate 3 won it. No shock. It's perfection for what it does. I think Tears of the Kingdom is perfection for what it does, and then the rest are like just good games.
Yeah. And going back to the voice actor real quick, Yuri Lowenthal is in. I'm starting to see him in everything. I feel like he's in so much now, and I can agree he is really good. He's really good, a really good actor, really good voice actor. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he would be my pick for the like voice of the year or whatever it was. And for game of the year, as I said, Baldur's Gate I think was 100% deserving of it. I don't know if it was my game of the year though. I absolutely love the game. Don't get me goddamn wrong. Like, the game is phenomenal. I love the devs. I love everything about it. But the problem that I have with it, and I feel like this isn't just Baldur's Gate, this is a lot of the trend going on with these open world games, where they feel too big, where it's like, I just want to play something smaller. Like, I don't want to play a Baldur's Gate or a Tears of the Kingdom, or, you know, I want to play stupid Resident Evil. You know, or something smaller, something linear, something I can just go through. That's probably just a me thing, because I'm not that high on open world games.
Yeah.
I want to play Tears of the Kingdom, but I still haven't even finished the first one. Fucking Breath of the Wild. I still haven't finished Breath of the Wild. Because it just feels like a big undertaking. It feels like this game is so huge, I'm going to have to put days and days and days into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I take a break, I have no idea what I'm doing anymore.
That's why I usually, if it's only, because I was really looking forward to that, so I just played it just on day in, day out. When I had the chances to. Pikmin 4, I took it even to my girlfriend's, and when I was around hers, kind of just playing it handheld and just doing my own shit. Because though they're big games, when I see it, like, when I think about it, when I'm like, hey, I put fucking, I don't know, 50 hours into Siege in the past 2 weeks, I could have beat Tears of the Kingdom in that. Properly. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've got, like, yeah, around that in Tears of the Kingdom. Or I've put 20 hours into Total Warhammer 3 in the past 2 weeks. Yep, could have done a fair chunk of whatever. Could have beat Pikmin 4 in that time. So it doesn't bother me when I compare it to other games. Like, especially multiplayer games, like, say, COD. You can play that and just not even realise you've done anything in it. You've leveled up like twice in like 7 hours, so it's like... Well, it is a big undertaking. It's not something that bothers me if they're big games that I'm enjoying. If I'm thoroughly enjoying it, then yes, that's fine.
Yeah. With Baldur's Gate, I was thoroughly enjoying it. It's just scheduling issues that stopped it. But the game itself was really good, and it being an open world game and it being so big, it really I struggled to finish it. I struggle to make my own save so that I can finish it. without waiting for everyone else. Because even if we got together, even if scheduling issues didn't happen and we got together and we started playing again now, it would still take us probably like more than a month to beat. Because one, we're all different people and we like different things of the game. We like to enjoy different things of the game. And so some people are just beelining to NPCs and wanting to know the story. Some people are out exploring and going somewhere else. Some people are picking berries in the background. Some people are like trying to find their class, like what they want to do, and are switching specs every other second. It's like as a 4-man, it's hard, but then I can't make my own because I don't want to do Act 1 again. So it's a struggle. I should just suck it up. I really do want to just suck it up, play Act 1 again. You could probably get through it. The problem is I don't want to speed through it because then I have the intel. As a player, I have the intel, but my character doesn't, if that makes sense. Like, my character doesn't have the experience of talking to those people. So then, if I find someone in Act 2 that was in Act 1, I might not have a conversation piece, or I might not have a item or something that I should have got in Act 1, but I didn't because I just sped through it.
But when's the last time you played it, is what I'm thinking.
I could probably tell you right now on my last play on Steam. Baldur's Gate. December 30th.
Yeah, you're not going back to it, let's be real. Let's be real. None of you at the moment are thinking, like, other than you right now, probably, because we're on about it. Yeah. But I'm doubt any of them are thinking, oh, Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of looking fun at the moment.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. Yeah, I'm probably just going to suck it up and play it again. I'll come back and let you know how that goes, but
yeah,
I would love to finish the game. Absolutely love to finish the game.
So, what's it like as a D&D player? Is it like does Baldur's Gate do anything better than the actual tabletop, or is there no beat in the tabletop?
I mean, no, it's no tabletop. Obviously, you could. I personally believe that there is not a single way you could bring perfect tabletop D&D into video games without better technology. You just couldn't. Either that or an extremely heavy modding scene. Which, to be fair, I think Baldur's Gate has a pretty hefty good modding scene as well. Like, they're bringing in entirely new classes and stuff in mods. Like, it's crazy. But, you know, for a true D&D video game, you would need to have it so one player could be the DM. And you would need to have it so that one player has the tools in that video game to be a DM. They can create their own worlds, have their own... it would need to be a video game that not only has the systems like Baldur's Gate 3 does, in how it plays in turn-based and all that stuff. It's got that right. But there also needs to be the other side of the DM who can spawn enemies in, who can build the world, have like the hut or the castle or whatever they're in, and be able to manipulate it in the way that they need to go with the story, and have all of that be in a video game. I don't know. Extremely difficult. But what Baldur's Gate does better than the tabletop? Accessibility. Absolutely. Anyone can pick up Baldur's Gate and know the premise of D&D. Like, you've never played D&D before. But did Baldur's Gate do a good job in showing you, like, here's the dice, here's the number that you need to reach, roll the dice, see if you get it?
Yeah, sometimes it did. And sometimes it just felt ridiculous.
like the
The
really
Shadow
bad.
Heart one, or when it's
Yeah.
like, say, I don't know, just a normal conversation. It's like roll a dice to not stumble over your words. Like that's stupid. That's silly.
Yeah, true, but in D&D that is how it is. In D&D
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do
that's
a
what I mean.
charisma
Like
check or a thing. Yeah.
I'm 100% coming as a non D&D player.
I
Um, go on.
I think the accessibility of you can pick it up as a D&D player and understand the premise of D&D. The premise of, oh, okay, everything revolves around a dice roll pretty much. Like you're how much damage you do is a dice roll. The what succeeds is a dice roll, like your charisma checks, as you were saying in conversation and stuff.
Mm.
And it also is really good for versatility as well. As I was talking about, you can deal with the goblin camps. You can go in there passively and you can recruit the goblins, or you can blow them all up, or you can go stealthy like we did, or you can brute force it like you did, or you can talk to them, find some mutual understanding or something. Like the versatility of D&D as well has a lot to do with it, and it's just playing Baldur's Gate 3 is obviously a lot more accessible than finding four other friends, one of them being a DM. One of them would have to be a DM, which is already hard to do.
Mm.
And then that DM would have to create a world, create a campaign, the players would have to create their characters. Then you'd have to sit down and actually do the game. Like, if you want to play D&D, but you don't want to, do all of that, I feel like Baldur's Gate is your next best option.
Mm.
Like, just easily.
So, you got anything else? They've said they're not doing Baldur's Gate 4, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're working on something else now, aren't they? They're working on something new.
I think so, probably, but it won't be Baldur's Gate 3 or Divinity.
No, new IP, new completely
okay.
separate, like away from Baldur's Gate, away from Divinity. I think, if I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong. Larian Studios' next project. Larian Studios is currently working on 2 new games. Both of the upcoming projects are based on original IPs.
Okay.
He wants to tackle a smaller scale game after spending 6 years on Baldur's Gate 3. I can probably understand that. Like, after Baldur's Gate comes out, he spent like so much blood, sweat, and tears on that game. It's like,
Yeah.
let me do something. Let me do something smaller, please.
I don't think they should do another one of those kind of games for a long, 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 long time.
Yeah.
Because there's no passing it now.
What I wonder, what do you think Baldur's Gate type games are going to look like in 10, 20 years?
VR.
You think VR?
Mm-hmm. Or you'll be genuinely walking around the fucking town and doing all your dragon
not
fighting.
A bad idea. I would love that. I think there is a VR D&D game called Dungeon Full Dive, where it's not Baldur's Gate by any means, obviously, but it's got its own world builder inside it, so that someone else can come in, create the world with their tools, with their systems. It's obviously not perfect, but it's got enough to be able to build the idea of what you want, and then you can use that game as your tabletop. You can use that game as instead of being around a table, you're in VR around a table. I guess.
Yeah.
It all comes down to a table. You can't. That's the thing. Like, trying to put D&D into a video game format, you're kind of losing a lot of the D&D style. Baldur's Gate is definitely the best way that I've seen it done. I mean, not just Baldur's Gate, but also like Divinity and stuff. Like, it's the same vein, same premise. Uh, but 1-to-1 D&D to video game.
Mm.
Much better software needs to be made, in my
Oh,
opinion.
100%. What else we got? You
I think
got
that's
any
it.
other?
I
That's
think
it? How long
I
have we
think
got?
so. An hour 45.
That's good actually. That's not bad.
Pretty decent, pretty decent. I'm just happy uh we got to a mutual Baldur's Gate 3 uh,
Yeah,
ideology. But
without arguing.
yeah, what would you say to end it off? What would you say you hated and loved the most about Baldur's Gate 3?
Oh, okay. What I loved about it, that mushroom forest was pretty cool.
The mushroom forest. Okay,
No,
so just the
uh,
the area itself,
y-
or
I'll be more genuine, even though that was the only good area of the game.
okay,
Um, I enjoyed the characters for the most part.
the
How they
story of the
all had,
characters or the characters
yeah, just
themselves?
how they were acting, how they acted around like your character. Because you had a 4 stack, didn't you? So you didn't have your
Yeah,
characters like really in the field, but yeah.
no,
You can speak to them, and then they'll give the like you can have conversations with them out on the field and all this. They'll have like different things to say at certain points. I really enjoyed that, and just how they acted and their own stories and like how they weren't forced together. Like Shadow Heart's artifact, it weren't like gay. It weren't like whatever his name is, Astron.
Astarion.
Yeah, he's not like, hey, I need that artifact to not be a vampire. She had her story, he had his story. They didn't like jam them together. Like, look, everyone's connected.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the characters, their motivations, how they acted, how they changed, how they acted with you over time. You could make them like you, dislike you. Very cool. That was the best bit for me. My least favorite bit was that stupid fucking skill check that costed like 70 charisma or an intellect. Or, I don't, my least favorite bit was how boring the areas were for a Dungeons and Dragons game where it could be anything in reality. It's like it starts you off on this cool alien mind flayer ship where like you have like a little cool brain friend walking around with you, Us. That's his name, isn't it? Us.
oh,
Um,
yeah, I think so.
and then it's like, okay, okay, it's crash landed. Where are we? Near a goblin camp, uh, in the forest, on a beach. Guess where you wake up on Divinity? On a fucking beach, near a forest, near a town. That weren't it. That weren't the play. And the fact Act 2 starts, or I think it's near the start of Act 2, where it's like, you're in a forest. Oh my god, I almost punched my screen. I thought it was going to be a massive tonal shift, like, okay, now we're in like, I don't know, something cool. The water world is what you didn't get to it. Shadow Heart's little bit for her story. Um, that area was so cool. You had to jump between like floating rocks and stuff. That was really cool. But the fact Act 2 starts up and it's you deep it in the forest. No, I weren't having that. That annoyed me to no end. But yeah, characters and locations, favorite and least favorite. What about you? Sure.
So, my most favorite, or the thing I loved about the game was probably the versatility. You could grab items, throw them at enemies. You could grab an explosive barrel and then throw that explosive barrel and then ignite it with a spell. Or you
Hmm.
could use that barrel to then climb onto a scaffolding somewhere else and then you can leap onto them, or you could stealth through it, or you could just talk to them or something. Versatility was probably the thing I loved the most about the game. And my least favorite thing about the game, um, hmm, probably I actually don't know. Maybe the areas. I mean, you are right. Like there are so many. One of my favorite things in D&D is the Feywilds. And the Mushroom Forest is very similar. It's kind of similar to the Feywilds. But I would have loved to see the actual Feywilds. I think the Feywilds would have been amazing to see. Or just any other plane. I mean, you have the Underdark. The Underdark was there, which was pretty neat. But yeah, any other like plane or something, then yeah, another forest.
Yeah,
You are
stick
right.
of forests.
You're definitely right there. We also
What would you rate
experienced a bug.
a book?
Yeah, we experienced a heavy bug. You know, like I think it's towards the end of Act 1 where you meet some more. Oh, is it Dathraki?
The orcs.
They're not orcs, but sure. The orcs. You meet more of them, and one of them has a dragon. And you talk to them, and you're supposed to fight them, or we were supposed to fight them anyway. We did the wrong dialogue option or something, but we would talk to them, and then they would start a fight, and then just stand there, and they just wouldn't do anything. They were killable. We killed the dragon. Githyanki, thank you, Githyanki. They had a dragon. We killed the dragon, even though you were not supposed to, because it had a bunch of goddamn health. But it just wouldn't. It would just stand there. It was bugged, and we could just walk past them and go down into the cave. And we kind of just moved on. We tried reloading. We tried like going back a few saves. We tried a lot, but we couldn't unbug it. So we just went through and moved on to the next one. But that was probably the only game-breaking bug I ever experienced in that game. So I can't say the bugs were what I hated, but it's just, it's something to mention. But yeah, what I most hated about the game is probably the areas, now that you say it. I can't really say much else. I like the characters, I like the area, the story's fine. The story's not the best. I don't think the story's great, but I don't think it's about the overarching story. It's about the characters' stories.
Got to get to Act 3. Come on, Act 3 is where it really picks up.
Shut up!
Get to Act 3, man. That's where it really starts.
But that's the same thing with like any TV show or something, right?
Yeah, I hate that. When
you don't like The Walking Dead? Oh, just wait until season 7. Trust me.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, example, but yeah.
Yeah, what would you rate it out at? Oh, fun little story, though. When we played Divinity Sin 2 for the first time, I almost killed my entire squad, like all 4 of us, in the tutorial.
How dare.
So,
you and your tutorials.
Yeah, I almost wiped 4 people out, and they were not happy. We were just going through it, and I had no clue what the fuck was happening. That they've already played it before, and I had a fire spell, and my first instinct is hit the guy with the fire spell. Little did I know, the entire room was covered in oil. So they're all like really far in the room, and I just shoot my fire spell through the door, and the entire room just explodes into fire. And I just watch all their health like half, and I'm like, I must have a really strong spell. And they're like, you're a fucking idiot. There's oil everywhere. What's the oil on the boat?
But that's, in my opinion, that's also a really good thing. That's great. That comes into the same kind of category as versatility, where you can use the environment to your advantage.
Yeah, that was really cool. I enjoyed that bit.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite things about D&D just in general.
I also have
Obviously,
bad luck. I missed so many times where it's like 80% chance to hit, 95% chance to hit, and it'd be like critical miss. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever.
yeah, like like XCOM.
Yeah, that felt more bullshit than XCOM. That did. XCOM was like, you missed or you did 1 damage, and this is like critical miss, dipshit. Why'd you try that one? Well, I had 95% chance to hit. Shove. I'm shoving a little fucking goblin about half my height and weight. Miss. What do you mean I missed? Did I slip? How'd I miss a push? I'm in his face.
Unfortunate, my man. Unfortunate.
But yeah, what would you give it out of 10? Sorry.
Baldur's Gate. Ooh. I'd give it an 8.5.
Okay.
What about you? What would you give it?
As a personal experience, like a 4.
Worse than Death Stranding. Holy.
Yeah, because at least I beat Death Stranding.
Fair enough.
Oh no, you know what? It might be on the same. As a personal experience, 5. I'll give it 5. I did enjoy the characters enough to try to stick around. As a looking in through someone else's eyes and seeing what the game is for other people, it's probably like well, it's a 10 for everyone else, but yeah, but the best I can give it is an 8.
Oh yeah, a lot of people will probably say that it's a 10. It's a 10 out of 10. I disagree. I don't think it is a 10 out of 10. There are issues, but
It's still a full package of a
it's
game.
still it's still a great complete game. And I mean, I'm not gonna complain with that whatsoever. I'm not complaining about that. No any day. So yeah, all in all, Baldur's Gate 8.
Yeah, it's there. It came out. It won Game of
It's
the
a
Year.
it was definitely a game that came out.
Yeah,
It
was a
was
game
one of the
the
games
year.
of all time.
Definitely came out last year.
It definitely came out.
All right.
Shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's wrap it up.
That is 2 hours.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening.